Well, it's a wonder I don't have more things wrong with me because I was up half the night because it seems we had this horrible problem around here yesterday, and I didn't know if I was going to be working, if what was going to be happening today. I'm sure if they didn't know, they'll know now. There was this big electrical outage in this building here. This is the Farm Bureau Federation building. For some reason, they had a big electrical outage, and it just did all kinds of crazy things to us, right? Lance, just shut down? Is that I didn't hear?
Yeah, it was not us. It was so bad that even the backup generators would not function because the electricity seemed to have been fried.
Well, what happened on the air though?
They were about 4:30. It just went blip and darkness.
Silence.
The whole building. I mean, I wasn't here, but when you're told bring a flashlight to work, okay, yeah, that might have been an issue.
Yikes! Well, I didn't know about it till I was already asleep because anybody knows I go to sleep early the night before I go to work, and because I wake up in the middle of the night anyway. So I heard about this, and then I thought, well, if this isn't fixed, you'll just have to throw up Friday's show, which would be good because Friday's show would hold because we had the new Ward 7 councilman and we had Ashby Foote on. So both of those would hold. And so then I thought, well, okay, I better get up and be prepared. So I got up and tuned in at 6 o'clock, and there they were. You're all on the air, and everything's back to normal. No problem, right? Yes. The only news item I have is, what's the biggest thing to happen in Mississippi in the last few days? Any ideas? Any ideas? No ideas? Buc-ee's.
Yes, Buc-ee.
I have a guest sitting here laughing because he must know about it. Morgan Yeates is here. We're going to be talking about the Bottle Tree Garden Tour, and we're going to see his house, which is some sort of fabulous. I mean, my house looks like the maid's closet compared to his beautiful stuff. Well, you do have beautiful things. But Buc-ee's, I mean, I heard that somebody told me a few weeks ago that it's as big as Walmart. I thought it was like Pilot or something like that, but it's as big as Walmart.
Buc-ee's is great.
And how many gas stations do they have? Like
30. I don't know about the one in Pass Christian, but it's typically on the offside on the road on the interstate. They'll have 24 gas stations, and now they have about 24 electric chargers for electric cars.
Yeah, really. So you've been to Buc-ee's because you've lived in Texas for a long time, right?
Oh yeah.
So, how many on I-20? Like between here and Dallas, how many are?
There's only about 2 or 3. Yeah, maybe just one still on I-20 between here and Dallas. But you go south to San Antonio or Houston, they're everywhere.
Where are they out of anyway?
I don't know.
Welcome, Morgan Yeates.
We're here to talk about Buc-ee's?
Yeah, we'll talk about getting food at Buc-ee's. And by the way, speaking of, I have to say about food, Lance over here is our food maven guy, and he knows all about the best restaurants. Well, there's a new one for you to go to, Lance, if you haven't already been there. It's behind Walgreens on Ward.
Where's it? On the...
It's by the Sunoco gas station.
Okay, you got to tell me what they got.
Everything.
Yeah, barbecue?
I think they do. All I know is it's real popular. It's been slammed because it's so busy. And we have this stretch on Lakeland. Well, this is just right behind Lakeland. We have this stretch. I call it the Lakeland Food Court because there's just a bunch of stuff along there. Bojangles, God knows what. Anyway, well, we're taking away from your time because we got to talk about something very important really coming up here. So check that place out. It's at the Sunoco, Lance. You won't be disappointed. So Morgan Yeates has this fabulous house anyway, and you are hosting what is it, After the Garden Tour?
After the Garden Tour, the Fondren and Bottle Tree Garden Tour is this Saturday during the day, 10 to 5, and at 6 o'clock, I'm opening my house. They asked me to show my art and artifacts for 2 hours, and while we're serving wine and have live music, so it's going to be a nice little party.
Who's doing the music?
Ben Williams, who's the chair of the MC Music Department, and he's a local musician, and he's going to be there live with all of his setup and doing it. So it'll be a nice party.
And you went to MC anyway, so this is, right?
No, I went to Millsaps.
Millsaps.
Went to Millsaps.
Excuse me. Oops.
And then did some other education, and then moved out to Dallas.
Yeah, but originally from Mississippi and came back here a few years ago.
Right.
I hope you find that Mississippi has grown a lot, and I hope you also have a sense that there are really some good things in store for Jackson.
I'm very
pleased. This is a really important time for the city.
Well, I moved away for 45 years, and I've come back. And, I recognize some street names, but I don't recognize the buildings, and a lot of the towns weren't even around here, like Madison or the others. And I'm very pleased. And, in fact, when I moved back into Jackson. So I'm right in Fondren area, and I believe in Jackson.
Well, that's good because, like I say, it's a wonderful time for Jackson. The bottle tree tour, that's fascinating because these are my kind of trees. You don't have to rake up after them. They're not going to, limbs are not going to fall off of them.
Shed.
No shedding, no raking, none of that. But they have beautiful colors, but those colors are year-round.
Well, it's interesting that I had to find out myself where this came from, but when the garden tour was starting a few years ago, somebody had noted and loved the bottle trees because they were colorful. Well, their origin is in the Congo in Africa to ward off evil spirits. And so they used to have just dead trees, or they stripped them and they put the bottles on there. And generally, cobalt blue was their preferred color or the most effective for removing spirits. And so that's where they came from. Then they spread to Europe, and now they're here, and they're mostly a decorative item, but people love
Europe?
them.
Wow.
Oh, sure. France and
Really?
Italy, where you're eating al fresco, and people will finish the bottle and they'll put it on the bottle tree, and so they stay out there. Yeah.
The only bottle tree that I knew of around here was, what do you say, Lance? The only bottle tree that we knew of for a long time around here was, it was in Fondren.
I know of one that Nellie
there was
has.
one. Well, Felder Rushing is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah, Felder. That was the one.
Felder
I
had
think he's
one.
the
Don
only
Potts.
one.
Don Potts
But then
has them.
it's become quite the thing. Well, how many houses are on the tour?
24 houses will be on the tour, on the garden tour of it. It's incredible. There's no way to see all of them, but there's a map in the material that you get when you register. 24 gardens on tour throughout the day. And it's self-guided. You go where you want to and finish when you want to.
You wander around, but finish by what time to go to your house?
5 o'clock is when the gardens close, and I think the idea behind it is to give people a chance to go get a drink or dinner or something quick, and then my house opens at 6 to 8.
And what are you going to have there again?
We'll have
Music,
we have a guided tour, not a guided tour. We have a planned tour where you can follow a floor plan and go to each of the rooms that have my art and other objects in it, and then you work your way out to the courtyard in the back, and you'll get wine and have music.
Well, I mean, folks, this house, Morgan's house, is fabulous. It's on Meadowbrook Road, and it used to be owned by the Kesslers. And who built it? Do you know who the people
A
who
family
built it?
called the Kings. I don't know the name. They built it in 1937. In fact, the daughter of the Kings came up to my house one day and introduced herself and wanted to see it again. They built the original center part of the house. The Kesslers bought it, and in 1977 tripled the floor space of the house.
Wow.
It's got about 6,000 square feet.
Wow.
And they even enclosed the backyard to make it a nice brick courtyard. So it's very much like Court of Two Sisters in New Orleans.
Yes.
Very enclosed and warm.
One of my favorite restaurants.
Yeah, and so I wanted a place that had wall space and floor space for my art, and so it met all those needs.
What did you have to do? Because we can see. Do we have them on the air yet, Lance? Are you showing?
I'm working.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
It's a beautiful everything. It's amazing.
Everything is amazing about.
Well,
this
it's in the
house.
Northside Sun.
There's
It's
a
in
magazine. Their magazine.
The Northside Sun. Yeah.
Did you have to do anything other than maybe paint if you had to do that?
I didn't have to do anything.
Really?
It's
Move in
interesting.
ready. Wow.
A developer bought it from the Kesslers. He pretty much gutted it because the reason was it was the old house in the center, and then there was the add-on from the Kesslers. And there was a little bit of inconsistency in the look and feel of it. Plus, there was a lot of darker colors and other things. So he painted everything white, put in white countertops, put in matching hardware throughout the house. And when I walked in, all I had to do was hang my pictures. I was thrilled.
Wow. You have, folks, you're going to see this in a few minutes. He has the most amazing eclectic collection, I guess, if that's a fair term to use.
Well, the word I use, in fairness, is curated. Because I've had eclectic before where I just collected all sorts of things I liked, and then after a while you decide, there's some things I just really like, and I'll sell everything else. So when I was in a house previously, I had a huge moving sale and sold 600 items and just thinned it out. And so now in this house, there's a lot more space to enjoy what I've got.
Well,
and just so you know, I am flipping through the Northside Sun article with all of the amazing photos of your home and art and colors. Morgan, that is amazing, bud. I mean,
well, thank you.
Explosively awesome.
Yes, and you did your own decorating, I would presume.
I do. I'm kind of self-taught.
Yeah, it's your stuff, Well, I have some nice things in my house that we had a cottage up on Lake Huron, and when my parents sold it many years ago. I said, I want as much as I can have out of there. And I've got some Navajo rugs, which I absolutely adore. I have one big one, some other ones that I'm not using right now, but they've been in use and they will come. But dishes and some stuff. But because I have that casual stuff, I have to have a formal living room because of a formal dining room because of stuff I inherited from, like my mother. I call it the Dorothy Wieden Figurine Museum. Well, you can't put that next to a Navajo rug. I mean, you got to.
Some things just don't work.
Separate rooms, for that kind of stuff.
Well, one advantage that I had was
when you traveled and picked these things up.
I was just going to say one advantage that I've had is that I've worked remotely, and mostly because I travel for my work in consulting and in IT. And so for 30 years or more, I've been traveling either for business or for personal travel with my daughter. And we will travel to far-flung places, and after a while, you start seeing things that you recognize their beauty. Usually it would be attached to the local culture. So I'm not going to go to London and buy a picture of James Dean. I'm going to go to London and buy an antique from the 1600s or something like that. So over the years, I've collected things that I liked. And like I said, I got to where I had probably too much and I thinned it out. And now I'm really pleased that I have the wall space and just the floor space to let them breathe.
Really?
So I think the pictures tell that pretty well.
They do. They tell a wonderful story. Did you say you did or did not get to Germany?
I did get to Germany.
Did you have things from Germany in the house?
I'll have to think about
Let me see.
that.
Was ist von Deutschland
mostly some
here?
etchings. I have some etchings from Germany, and if you come on Saturday night, I'll show you my Heidelberg Castle.
See, I used to
etching.
be able to play at the Heidelberg Castle and walk over there. Had this friend, and we would walk over there. We lived on Klingentheistrasse, and I hate it that I've tried to look up my house. I've looked it up that we lived in over the years, and it's still great. It kind of looks gingerbready from the front. Siebzehn Klingentheistrasse. But it's not there. I think it's been torn down. But anyway, I could go to the Heidelberg Castle because it's just a walk around the corner. Practically.
Well, what I've found is that when people come to my house,
I remember.
Exactly.
They do remember.
They always find something they like. Now, some of it is historic, and if you look at the picture, some of it is a little more whimsical. But like my favorite are the 2 9-foot-high mermaids. In there,
where are they?
On page 18, but right behind the piano, there's 2 of them. They came from a remodel of the Delano Hotel in Miami, and they apparently had a bunch of them, but I didn't know any of that. I found these, frankly, through the website of a Palm Springs antique vendor, and I had them shipped out. They're 9 feet tall, and they're actually menorahs.
Oh, yes.
And so when you turn them on, it's like, what's going on here? It's a mermaid. It's a menorah. Well, that's not the point. The point is that it captures your imagination, and I love that.
Yeah. Well, no, anything I have from Heidelberg would be like figurines. I guess got some nice figurines from Heidelberg. Because they didn't buy. I don't think they didn't buy furniture over there. But you have truly collected absolutely fabulous things, and it's wonderful that you're opening the house. Well, tell me about the whole. How many bottle trees do you have? Do you have a bottle tree in your yard?
I'm going to get 2. So I will be the proud owner of 2 of them, and I'm filling them up. I have all of my. I don't drink alcohol, but I have lots of friends who do, and so I've called all my imbibing friends, and I've said, keep your bottles and send them over.
Oh, yeah.
So by Saturday night, I'll have 2 complete bottle trees.
Where are they going to be in the front yard, like opposite each other on the front of the sidewalk?
Well, this is different because you've already pointed out to me, Mary, that I don't have anything green or blooming really in the front yard.
But yes, I noticed that, and I thought, beautiful house, because I'm whacked on bushes. Well, because I'd spend my life whacking them down. But
when they remodeled the house,
but you had to remodel this. Now I understand why.
Well, the remodelers came and they cleaned out a whole lot of stuff, and so the yard was really scraped.
The house is gorgeous, folks.
But I've got internal plants. I call them my internal garden, my interior garden, and so I've got plenty. The bottle trees will actually be my bottle trees will be in the backyard. So
okay.
So
during
the wine. So you'll see.
You'll see them on the tour. Is this a loggia? It looks like a loggia on page 21 of the Northside Sun magazine. It's your.
I call it the Grand Hall. I had to name every tour. It's 60 feet long and 10 feet wide, Mary. It's incredible. And I was in the house for a few months, and I was maybe just a couple of months, and I was trying to place furniture and hang art. And I was standing right there in the middle of that hall, and I thought, This is not an addition for grandkids to run up and down.
That's a bullpen. I mean, you need 60 feet 6 inches.
Exactly. This is a party for. This is a hallway for parties. Well, it turned out that the Kessler family, Averill and William, are the ones behind the Kessler Productions that brought all the Broadway shows to Jackson. And what they would do, and I've heard this from all the neighbors, at post-production, post-tour, they would bring the crew and the cast and the donors and everything, and have a couple of hundred people in the house. I understand that WLBT came there with cameras and lights and all this stuff.
Yeah.
And from the next door neighbors, they were saying, well, this is what they did. So he built the house for parties.
Yes, and and you call it the Grand Hall. It's beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah, I noticed because I thought, I was looking at these pictures. Well, and now I understand that if you had to redo everything, no wonder the yard, the front, but your backyard. Now that's your place.
That's mine. The courtyard is mine. Yeah. I love very large potted plants.
Yes, and I agree with potted plants.
Potted plants are the best. If they die, you just pull them out and put something else in there. Exactly. But for this back courtyard, they brick paved the entire courtyard, built an 8-foot brick wall. It's lighted at night. It's very nice. And so pretty. We're going to put high top tables out there, serve wine. People can just sit and relax. And so it's a party on top of the tour.
Wow. And you can, I think in the pictures, if you've got them up, Lance, are they up? Yeah? Are they up? Because I can't see.
I've been rotating in and out. Yeah,
so
I went through all of them for a while.
You have the, I think the picture of the, not picture, but the drawing of the what am I talking about? Landscape of the house, so people will know where to get in your house.
Well, let's see. The address is listed on the material, and it's easy to find at the corner of Meadowbrook and Oak Ridge.
Okay.
And then we've got it all set up where they can come through the gate, and we'll be parsing them through the house to let them tour the house, and it'll all be open to them. Anything's open.
That is so cool that you do that. The house is, to me, I would call that colonial. I don't know.
Is.
It's a colonial with a red. I love those colors too, black and white. I mean, it's so beautiful. But with the red door.
That was my decision.
Well, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah, and
that
the
really
front door.
It pops.
Well, on the front door, I didn't want it to be. I wanted people when they walk in the door not to think this is a colonial house with a red door. And so all of the decoration on the front door, I don't think you can see it too far, are actually very large.
No, I can't make the magazine.
Very large emblems and shields on the front door. They stand out. And so when you come there, be careful. You can get hooked on them. You can get cut on them.
Be careful. Don't have a crocheted shoulder.
Exactly. You won't get through the door. But it's... I think the Kesslers did a great job of setting it up and adding onto it so people can flow through the house.
Okay, so folks, our time is run. It's Fondren Bottle Tree and Garden Tour. And you just go to Morgan Yeates, Yeates is how people spell your last name. Oh, you do. Mm-hmm. And you'll see a beautiful house after seeing a whole wonderful garden tour. And bottled trees as well. Right. So you'll have a lot of fun. Starts at what time does the whole thing start?
Whole thing starts at 10.
Oh, okay.
For the
so
garden
all
tour.
Day long
Come and go all day long, and then
the
party starts at 6.
Oh, have fun. That's going to
you.
be a really good thing. And this is your first viewing of this house, right?
It is.
Oh,
it is.
I've
only been in it a year,
yes,
so
it's a debut. All right, everybody. So that's what you need to do on Saturday, but we have other things for you to do on Saturday as well. So thanks an awful lot. Have a great tour. We'll be back in just a few minutes. People know that. Well, welcome back to Mary Wieden You. Now we're changing our gears here. I said on Friday we were going to have a bunch of people and different things. Well, okay, now we are. I have in the studio Keith Ferguson. He is from something called WellsFest Cares, and Raphael Semmes, Mr. Musician. And why they're here is quite interesting in that, we listen to all of everybody's music around town, and often people play for free, or they don't get a whole lot of money. And musicians don't exactly have their own insurance company to deal with. And we know how insurance is very expensive and it's hard to deal with. So WellsFest Cares is an organization that we can all help out. We can help those who entertain us by contributing to their health and other caring needs. And we appreciate that. So welcome, guys. Whose idea was this, Raph? Was this yours? No.
No, this is the grand poobah of creative thinking when it comes to helping people, and a Wells Church member for a long time, Keith Ferguson.
And welcome.
Thank you.
Yes, and so you're kind of in charge of WellsFest Cares, correct?
Well, I've been the main organizer, I guess, of WellsFest Cares, but I would say that Raphael and all the musicians that have been helping WellsFest for the last 41 years have really inspired us all to want to find ways to help people. And WellsFest is an outgrowth of Wells Church, which has been in this city for 99 years.
Wow.
Over on Bailey Avenue. And our motto over there is loving, caring, and sharing. And so we're always about trying to find ways to help people. And so WellsFest was a brainchild of Malcolm White, who in 1984 got with Keith Tonkel and said, let's do something to help raise a little money for the renovation of the church. We were renovating the sanctuary at the time, and so Keith got together and said, "Okay, sounds good to me." And so Malcolm came around, and we got a few volunteers together, and we put on our little first festival and raised a few dollars. And so after that, we decided we wanted to continue. But Keith Tonkel was insistent, hey, let's do this, but let's give the money to somebody else. Let's give it to some other organization. And so that's the way WellsFest was born. And since that time, we've raised over $1.5 million
for various organizations.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And but WellsFest Cares. Who got the idea? Maybe Raphael. Maybe me. You had something to do with this too. Knowing that because you are Mr. Music, I call, and you care so much about all the musicians, and you care so much about people having their gigs and having their lives and doing as much as you can for them. So I would presume that you're probably pretty big into this aspect of it. And it was a year ago, not this year, but last year, WellsFest Cares was the beneficiary, right?
Absolutely. Last year, we were the beneficiary of the WellsFest Festival, and we raised over $100,000.
Okay.
And so that was a big help to put into the fund. We are actually a separate fund. We're under the Community Foundation for Mississippi. And so they help us manage the money and do that, and it makes it possible for us to focus on really on fundraising and on helping people that are in need, helping musicians in need.
Tell the audience if you've got any questions, you can always call us, at 888-808-8637. You can text us at 601-879-4395. That's 601-879-4395. And you can watch us online, supertalk.fm/Mary. So I can hear somebody say, well, they're famous people, so they must have a lot of money. Everybody... Not so, is it? What's it like, Raphael? You're out there all the time.
Well, I'll tell you, Mary, this deal that Keith has spearheaded and done so much with, it's. I think maybe I'm in the way maybe I'm involved is I'm kind of a template because I was helped very much by Wells Church and members of Wells, and during some times when I was really vulnerable and needed some help. And Keith has taken that idea, but the one thing that I have to say about Keith and some of the key people that he has working with him, by the way, Malcolm is WellsFest founder, he's on the board, is that Keith, a lot of people, do things to help people and they feel good about it, and they write a check and everything, and we want everybody to do that. But Keith is on the ground. He is boots on the ground, actually dealing with the people being helped. One, I won't call any names right now, that's for Keith, but one of the people that's being helped at this point, Keith has spent copious amounts of personal time with this person, not just helping to raise money to help, with expenses and stuff, but also just for things that are needed and visiting and all that.
The caring part.
Keith is he is walking the talk.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's wonderful. That's the caring part, all of it. By the way, before we go any further, I can hear people say, well, okay, what can I do? What can I do? Because I like the music, and hey, if they need my help, what can I do? So what do people do?
Well, there's lots of ways to help. Obviously, we're raising money to help people, so you can always contribute money, and we've been very fortunate to have some very generous people that have stepped up and made some matching grants available. And but our website, WellsFestCares.org, is where you can go and find out about us, and there's an opportunity on there you can donate right there. But also, if you're a musician and you are in need of help, there's an application process, and that starts right there on our website.
Oh,
and so
good.
You can go through there, and we have a separate committee that handles all the requests. And our requests are generally for about $2,500 is our max, because we want to help as many people as possible. But there are occasions where we have a greater need than that. And if a musician has a community of support, which many of them do, that want to specifically help them, we have the availability, the ability to make it possible for all of those funds to help that person. So that was the case with our friend Steve Chester. Steve was one of those people that played WellsFest every single year.
Wow.
And in his last days, he was in hospice, and we helped his family pay off his hospice bill.
Oh, wow!
It's about $10,000, and so we do have that kind of thing available, so that we can help people if they have a community of support. But generally, our grants are going to be if somebody loses an instrument or needs a repair.
I was going to say, it's not just healthcare; it's
right.
Any kind of need.
Any kind of need. Maybe they had a house fire and they need some funds for that. We're pretty broad. We take things into consideration. We just want to be there. We just want to be a safety net for musicians in need.
That's wonderful. About how many musicians would you say are part of this organization, or recipients, or just generally part of it?
Well, it's been a small amount so far because we're just getting started and people don't really know. And so I'm glad that we have this opportunity to share with the musicians that this is available for them. But we've helped a number of people. Greg Fingers Taylor. Everybody remembers Fingers for being part of Jimmy Buffett's band, and Fingers was our first headliner and for WellsFest. Fingers really put us on the map as a festival, and he headlined for us for a couple of years, and Greg was sick, had dementia for the last years of his life, and so we were able to help his family with some of the end-of-life expenses, and so that was one of the things.
Wow. That makes you feel pretty good, doesn't it?
Yeah, and also I'd just like to add that musicians can also help WellsFest Cares. Whether you can give $1 or maybe some tips or whatever. But the other thing is musicians, fans, and people who have been touched by musicians that are in need and are being helped by WellsFest Cares. If you can give anywhere from $1 to $1 billion, it really doesn't matter.
Right.
But also go see the musician, go see them, spend some time with them, tell them how much they mean to you, because man, that's good tonic.
I can hear people say, "Well, where do I go?" Well, wherever you are.
Probably can go to the WellsFest Cares and maybe find out. I don't know if it's confidential of who they help all the time, but I mean, if you find out that your favorite musician, is having a struggle, not only make a donation to WellsFest Cares and then and run by and see them.
Yeah, that's a nice thing. That's a very nice thing to do, because I bet people will be like, well, I don't know if I can do that. Yes, you can. You can do that. It's not hard to do.
Everybody can say a word of kindness, and everybody's carrying something. So just being kind and supportive and encouraging is always one of the things we can do.
We appreciate your music very much. So if we can do something in return, that's a pretty wonderful thing, folks. And it doesn't cost you an arm and a leg, because you've seen them for free. I think of like just even the Jazz Fest. I think that look at all those people we see for free. I know that I realize that to put it on, there are sponsors and all that, but still, it doesn't get down to the person who all of a sudden finds themselves in great need and does not have access on their own to a bundle of bucks, and so you can appreciate them a whole lot.
Yeah, we try to make that event available to everyone with no charge, but Keith, kind of mention a little bit about what some of the eligibility
criteria
requirements are to be helped.
You know, again, as we're getting started, we've looked to other organizations to try to understand how to be able to help people, and so formulating guidelines and understanding who we can help, and because we don't have a huge stockpile of money, and so it's not like we can pay off a house or any of that kind of stuff. And so, but we look for people who are getting at least half their income from their music business.
Sure.
You know, we have a lot of musicians who are weekend musicians maybe, but this is for people who really dedicated their lives into the music world. And so,
when you get enough contributions, you can help pay off somebody's house or something like that. You know,
there you go.
You can be like Tunnel to Towers or something like that.
Yeah.
You know, you really can. So people do need to know about you.
That's right.
That's a neat thing.
Right.
How many musicians would you say around central Mississippi? I mean, Raphael, you would know. If anybody knows, you would. You know, hundreds. And we have such a wealth of, of artists, musical artists around.
Well, a great musician and dear friend of mine and a lot of the musicians in the community was Quintus Johnson. He said there's more world-class musicians per capita in Jackson, Mississippi, in the area than anywhere else.
Wow.
And he's been around the world. He was...
That puts us right to the end of the segment. Thank you so much for coming here. That's a good way to put it, too. WellsFest Cares. .org.
Right.
That's how you can get some more information on this. All right, help out our musicians. They help us out an awful lot. Thanks, guys.
Absolutely.
Coming back for another topic, but Raphael's going to be here. Another whole thing, but it has to do with music. All right, stay where you are on Mary Wieden You. Welcome back to Mary Wieden You. Like I said, we were doing a bunch of things today. We're talking about music. It's a different thing. I got Raphael Semmes still here in the studio, and I'm welcoming Liz Brister. She is the president of Downtown Business Partners, or Jackson Downtown. I get it wrong. Downtown Partners.
Downtown Jackson Partners.
Oh, there you go.
You're close.
Close. Downtown Jackson Partners. Well, congratulations on that, because you just took that job on recently, didn't you?
Thank you. Yes, I just started in February.
Wow.
After a career at Energy. I retired in January and started a new job in February.
Well, who could sit around and do nothing? I mean, it's okay for vacations, but as a lifestyle, it doesn't work, I don't think. How do you like it? Well, this is a really good time for you to do, to take that job. And so you are here because Mr. Semmes over here, Mr. Music, I call him, told me about something that they're doing, that musicians are doing on Thursday nights in June downtown. So, Raph, you want to talk about it? Or, yeah, you tell.
No. Listen, I'm a mud flap on this truck, man. This lady is doing some great work.
How do you know her? How do you know her?
We met actually through this situation. Mary Sanders and Damien Kavicki at Hal & Mal's. We kind of connected on, and they said, "Can you do some? Since we do a jazz night, Liz was saying, well, we're going to do a jazz thing on Thursdays in June. So anyway, she'll tell you all about it.
Yeah, he's not giving himself enough credit. He's very much behind all of this.
He is. He's Mr. Music. And
he's Mr. Music.
He cares about all of the musicians around here, and he wants everybody, I know, to have good gigs and all that, and all the love and care that they deserve. And we just did a segment, on WellsFest Cares, and now this is a neat thing. So Thursday nights in June, you tell
Thursday nights, and really, music is one of our treasures here in Jackson. We are the capital city of the state, and very much so, we're also the capital city of our arts and cultural institutions and the type of talent and treasure we have here. So in this new role, one of the things I want to do is really activate the spaces that are downtown for people to experience all that we have to offer. So we just closed out a very successful series in Smith Park called Hump Day, and we featured live music from the Mississippi Symphony Orchestra and a camel named Frank. It was a very successful event. I think the last day we had Frank, we had over 500 people in the park, so we never thought something like the Silly Camel would be the beginning of the rebirth of Jackson.
Well, where was he from anyway? Was he from around here, or did he come in from out of town, or what?
He originally I guess he's not from here, but he lives in Pelahatchie now.
Oh, okay. Well, what do you know about that?
Yeah. So, but seriously, we're trying to activate the spaces that are downtown and really fill our downtown with music and sound and vitality. And so we feel like this is very important. So for the month of June, we actually have a couple of things going on, or three things. On Mondays, every Monday during the lunch hour, we have Monday Blues with live blues music in the park and food trucks. So you can come out and have lunch in the park and enjoy the blues. And then
excuse me, I got to stop you. Who are some of the musicians? Will we recognize them? Who are they?
Well, we just had Jake Carter yesterday. He was our musician yesterday. And then the week before that, it was the Monday Blues Jazz Band. They kicked it off, and they play every Monday night at Halamal's too.
Okay.
So we're, again, taking some of the talent that's already there and trying to open it up to some new audiences.
Yeah.
On Tuesdays, we have Tuesday Pops, and Tuesday Pops provides a free popsicle or an Italian ice or ice cream if you come down to the park and you fill out a survey, or you can just buy your ice cream and walk around. And then on Thursday, the reason why we're here today is Thursday Unwind. And Thursday Unwind features live jazz music from 6 to 8 p.m. on Thursday nights.
And is this man we're sitting right here?
This is the one.
This is the one. He's the one. Okay, and who is going to be, who plays with you?
Well, we've got some really outstanding talent. We actually kicked it off with the Jackson State University Jazz Alumni Band.
They're pretty great, aren't they?
Yeah, it was a special gathering especially for the event of great musicians from JSU and the WJSU radio out there, and so this Thursday it will be the inimitable Barry Leach.
Who I
the Barry Leach group and his jazz group, and one of the highlights of that group is Adib Sabir. Deeb is a very fine vocalist, and Barry's just got some great players with him, and it's going to be really outstanding. And then on the 19th, we've got the smooth jazz sounds of Jesse Primer III, amazing sax player, and that's going to be a great time out there. And then on the 26th, we'll be wrapping up the series of Thursday Jazz in June with my quartet, Raphael Semmes Quartet, and all of these are from 6 to 8, and I think Liz is going to tell you that about the wine and the food.
The amenities that go with live jazz.
By the way, people should understand this is all free to the people.
Well, no, it's not. Not Thursday. Mondays and Tuesdays are, but the Thursday series.
That's fair. We were just talking about, we get to see other stuff. That's okay. How much is it?
Now, that doesn't mean you can't come sit on a park bench or bring your chair, but we do have a catered dinner that goes along with our Thursday night dinner.
Okay, gotcha.
So for $85 for two people, so one ticket is for two people.
Wow.
You get a catered picnic basket for two, and paired with a full bottle of wine from Levure Bottle Shop.
Whoa, that's a deal.
It is a deal.
It's a deal. And all that
wine.
That's right. All that in music, too. That's a good deal.
It is a good deal. And we had our first week last week. We're selling 25 tickets, 25 picnic baskets for each week. So we have a few tickets left for this week. So we want people to get their tickets. But we sold out last week. So we're really excited about the interest in people coming downtown and having dinner in the park, and you cannot beat the food. It was absolutely spectacular.
Well, where they're saying out there in the audience, how do I find out? What do you got to, if you want to buy tickets ahead of time, what do you do?
You need to go to downtown-jackson.com downtown-jackson.com/events/summer.
Okay.
And that will take you right to the link. Or you can just Google Thursday Unwind, which is spelled UNWINE, like wine, ''D. If you put that in, it will take you right to the ticket link.
Okay. I had we used to have a boat and sold it to some people, and they calling it I think they called it the Unwind. They lived down in it went down to Pass Christian? Yeah, I think that's where they put it. Pass Christian, it's Unwind. Unwind is what it is.
Yeah,
that's it. But anyhow, well, that's really good. So, so Thursday, and then Thursday Unwind, and it features the food. The picnic basket is curated by area chefs. So every week we're featuring different chefs from the local area. And this Thursday, the chefs will be Chaz Lindsay from Polito. He's doing our
our charcuterie, our appetizer, and then Damien Cavici of The Walk-In will be doing the main course for the picnic basket and some of their famous deviled eggs. Oh. And then we're wrapping it up with Guillermo Salinas from Just Vanilla, who's doing chocolate bonbons. So you will get a biscuit basket full of food and a lovely bottle of wine from Levier.
Oh, wow. That is very cool. Let's see now who called up and told me about this that I didn't know about. It was that man sitting right there again. Yeah, absolutely.
And encourage everybody listening on SuperTalk to tell everybody they know.
Thursdays in Smith Park.
Thursdays in June.
In June. And what time is it? From what time?
6 to 8 p.m.
6 to 8 p.m., which is a great time. Yeah.
Absolutely. It's just lovely. It starts to get a little dusky. The lights come on over Smith Park. Beautiful live oak tree. We have off-duty police officers there. So it's just a wonderful, safe, great event.
Like that.
Yeah. And, it's one thing, too. This is our Liz was talking in the green room. This is our capital city, so if you're not from Jackson, doesn't mean that you can't come and support your capital city and the metro. And Jackson is the metro, and the metro is Jackson.
I think some good things are ahead for Jackson. I think we've talked about this. I've had a lot of the political people on, and we've said, even though I don't go there anymore, my birth city is Detroit, and they say Detroit is coming back. Well, if that big old place can come back, then a smaller town like Jackson can really come back. It can be done. I think in short order too. You have new leadership, that's a good thing for the city. And now is its time, because if you didn't have that, time would have passed you by. But now you got this new time that's coming here with some new people and new thinking and new ways of doing business. And I think there is a sense, isn't there, in the air of, hey, we can do this.
I believe there is. I really do. I think this is our time as a city. And we've all visited other cities that have experienced a renaissance or a rebirth. Detroit is a great example.
You've been there?
Yes, I have.
Oh.
I have. It's a really exciting downtown environment, and 10 or 15 years ago, it was really in serious trouble.
Oh, it was.
Much greater challenges than we even have in Jackson, although we do have challenges, but some things are lining up. We have new leadership. We're excited about that. And we have new ownership of some of our downtown buildings. And that's really the first step towards revitalization.
You'll come back and talk to me about that.
Absolutely.
We're out of time for this. All right, Thursdays. All right, everybody, this coming Thursday and the other Thursdays in the month of June. Don't miss it. Thursday night, Thursday jazz concerts. Thanks a lot for coming, both of you, Raphael and Liz.
Thank you.
We'll see you on Friday. We're going to have one of our local mayors on Friday. See ya.